Well, hey YouTube. Not working on my truck today. I'm actually going to work on my car. It doesn't start, so I'm going to troubleshoot why. Well, as you can see, it's quite snowy here, so before I can work on my car, I've got to clean it off. Well, that was slightly unexpected. What I was going to say before my windshield wipers accidentally knocked snow all over me was my car does not start. It goes dead when you turn the key. So I suspect either a battery or a bad alternator not charging the battery, so I need to figure it out. However, you can see that the lights come on, and as soon as I hit the key, maybe, they go completely dead. Which, obviously the battery's dead at this point, but why is the battery dead? I just replaced it 2 weeks ago, so, with a used one, so it's possible that the battery I replaced it with is dead as well. Well, according to my voltmeter, the battery that I have in here, it's a die-hard battery, is reading about 12.17 volts. So, if the battery is dying, I should be able to, or not holding a charge, if I turn the lights and stuff on, you should see that number drop. Alright, so you can see the display. Nothing is on yet, but I'm going to turn on the lights. And it drops a little bit. Well, I've got the radio and the lights and the heater and everything going. It's not down as much as I thought it was going to be. Let's see what happens when I start the car. Well, she didn't drop that much. Well, I'm not totally sure what to expect at this point. I suspect it to be the battery. So I'm going to try another one. I have a spare one in the garage. Alright, so I've got the battery out of the car now, and I have my test battery. You can see that these, I actually suspect this terminal to be the problem. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but the wires are really loose in it. The terminal is old and squished down, so I'm thinking I'm going to replace that as well. And you can see, or maybe not with this camera, the inside here is actually, looks like it's been arcing. There was a film, well, like a crud built up around the terminal and it on the battery. And if you look on the battery, you can see what appears to be where it had been arcing. So, I suspect that to be my problem. But I'm going to throw another battery in and verify that the alternator is putting out enough voltage. So not only was the terminal loose on the end of the ground wires, they're also very corroded, and you can see if I can figure out, there's the terminal right here. They squished down so much so that they weren't making contact, and the nuts were actually loose. So I believe that's my problem. So I'm going to replace this, but I'm going to kind of reuse it for the moment. I want to just make sure the alternator is putting out the correct amount of electricity. Before I reattach the terminal to the end of the wires, I'm going to take a little piece of sandpaper and I'm going to scuff up the wires. That way you have a good connection, or I know you have a good connection. Most cars are 95, so stuff is quite corroded in it at times, and it's really rusty underneath, so nobody went through it until I did, and now it's hitting almost 100K, so it's starting to have other issues. I got it at 49. So I've been driving it a while. You can see that I got one pretty well done. I got to go over it again, but that's basically what I'm doing to it. Well, I've got my test battery in, so let's see if she cranks over. It's going to be a little loud because the exhaust is broken. That's another project. We have lights. While she runs, the exhaust is snapped at the flex pipe, so I've got to get a patch to fix it, but she cranks right over, so let's verify that the alternator is putting out about 14 volts. I'll show you how to do that. Well, she's definitely putting out 14 volts. Well, I'd say that alternator is good. I'm not sure about the battery, but I got the high beams on, I got the heat on, I got the radio on, I got the defroster on, and she's holding solid. So I would definitely say that this ground was bad, as well as potentially the battery. So I'm going to throw a trickle charger on the battery and see what happens. Well, before I went to get my parts that I needed, I put my battery on the trickle charger here. Now, I think it's safe to say that the battery is probably no good. It hasn't come up at all. It's been on it for about an hour. Well, we'll see. Here I've got my new battery terminal top post clamps, and I'm going to put those on. But before I do that, I've also got a piece of sandpaper here, and I'm going to scuff up the wires pretty good this time around, and I'll put them on. And I guess it doesn't hurt to give it one more quick scuff. Just for good luck. Then you got my new clamp here. Gotta loosen it all up. Alright, well I have the new terminal on the negative side. I used a little tape just to hold the wires together so I could get them in there easily. Now, once you have this on, every now and again you want to come and check the bolts to make sure they're nice and tight. And there we go, we got both terminals on. That's the positive side. And that's the negative side. They're both brand new. So, time to put my battery back in a little bit and see what happens. But first I gotta fix my exhaust. Alright, well I charged up my battery. I'm gonna put it in the car and see what happens. Well, it appears she starts. I fixed most of my exhaust sleeve. So I gotta get a smaller clamp. I still have a slight one. So, hopefully, it stays running.